If we're trading for CJ Henderson, I'm all for it.
Yeah.
I think we can make a move.
Well, and none of those moves are going to affect TJ in terms of like the money that we're trying to get for him right now. So he's still fine. We know what that situation is right now, man. The guaranteed talk, the guaranteed dance. What's the guaranteed amount? And we getting 100.
He wants 100.
Yeah.
For 5 years.
Yeah.
That's 25, but then he's probably going to want the contract to be around 28 to 30.
But he wants the 100 guaranteed though. That's 100 in guaranteed money for now.
What did Garrett get? He got 25. Did he get 20 guaranteed?
Yeah, he got 100. I thought he had 100.
I think his contract's 100. Like he got 25 per year. Is it fully guaranteed?
No, it wasn't fully guaranteed, but the guarantee.
That's what I'm thinking. It might be around 20. Let me look it up real quick.
Check that out. Yeah.
This could be a good gauge for TJ, the guarantee. But I mean, if he wants 100, he wants 100.
Right. I mean, because that's what I kept saying. He wants 100. Yeah.
Let's see what the precedent is. Guarantee. Oh, dude. That's
what I'm saying.
Hold on.
I thought he got like 100.
Yeah. The whole. Oh, wait. Here it is. You're right. 100 guaranteed.
Yeah.
The contract's 5 years, 125.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like TJ wants 100 guaranteed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Non-quarterbacks still haven't done that.
My math's terrible. My math is so bad because whenever I was saying 5 years, 100, I thought that was 25 per year. That's 20 per year.
Yeah, and it's not just 100.
I'm sorry, my math is so bad.
Because Miles is at 28, or I think Miles is at 27 or 28 a year, and Bosa is right 25. In that same. Yeah,
and Bosa is at 27.
That's what it was. Okay, Bosa is at 27, but Miles got 100 guaranteed. Yep. Yeah, that's the number, and that's seems to be what the sticking point is currently.
I'm fine with 100 guaranteed. I'm 100% fine with that. I don't want the cap hit to be 28, 29, 30 million.
Well, that's going to be how they distribute over those next years then. Because the 100's the 100.
Like the average salary with Garrett at 25, Bosa at 27. That's the thing that has me concerned. If you were getting that average salary up to 30 million.
It's going to be in that range.
That concerns me. But the guaranteed, I'm fine. Just give him 100. It's 20 a year then. I'm completely fine with that.
It's not 20 a year though, bro.
You could look at it that way.
In a sense, but the contract isn't going to be 5 years for 100 million. It's going to be 5 for
no, you're right.
40 million.
You're right.
Yeah.
But I'm fine with giving him the 100 guaranteed. It's the rest of it that's
right. But that's
now what does it equal out to?
Though. That's going to make it at 27, 28, 29.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. I'm starting to get concerned the more that gets up to 30.
But that's how it's going to have to, for him to get 100 million in guarantees. It's going to have to be, unless they're fully guaranteeing a contract for him, like that number is going to have to be up there like that, bro.
I'm good with 25 then. I'm good with 25. I'm getting more concerned.
Why you trying to shortchange my man TJ,
I'm just looking out for the Steelers right here.
Nah, man, I don't want to hear none of that. No. What was that this offseason with 7, huh? Where was I'm just trying to look out for the Steelers? Then it was, nah, man, we need 7 back. Get them back. Pay that man.
That's how I was looking out for the Steelers. We need 7.
Man, come on, bro. Come on, man. Don't do my man TJ like that. TJ has done everything to earn this here money, man. Pay that man the 100.
You get what I'm saying. You get what I'm saying, though. I'm with you. I'm with you on the 100 guaranteed. 30 a year though for an outside linebacker is concerning.
But it's TJ though.
He's good. It's
now
concerning.
He's just good? No way. You ain't just downplay TJ to just good. Come on, baby.
I say that in the best way I can.
No, you not.
He's really good.
Not. Really good. Come on, bro. TJ finished number 2. Defensive Player of the Year rated. Defensive Player of the Year voting. 2 years in a row now. Consecutively. That's not really good. Come on, baby. That's generational. That's
I don't blame the Steelers for being concerned about 30 million a year. I really don't. We can't go into this season without TJ. So something's going to have to happen.
So pay that
I'm just not going to feel the best about it.
But I'm worth it. Is he not worth it though?
30 million stuff. Oh my God. You're going to have to get it done though, because you can't go into the season without TJ. I don't feel the best about it. I'm just telling you.
Oh, come on.
25, 100% fine. 100%
you gotta pay that man.
They are. And I'm going to be good with it just from the standpoint that we're going to have TJ this season. But
so you said
long term,
the 30 mil is the sticking point, right? Well, just because I want to,
it's going to have to happen though. I understand that. It just sucks.
Well, I was going to ask the chat as well, man. In terms of, because I want to make sure it's the 30 mil is the sticking point. I'll just say simply, would you want TJ back on a 30 mil per year deal? You know, because that's essentially what it's going to be.
I don't want it, but there's a difference between want and need.
Yeah.
You need TJ for this season. And if that's what gets him to be playing this season, you're just going to have to do it. You can't go into this without him. You can't.
I'm just put it out here. Would you want TJ Watt for $30 million per year? That's what we at right now. Ask the community. It's simple. Yes or no. dude, you bring up a good, like, I do understand, like, in all seriousness, no, I do understand, like, where you're coming from, because that is a ton of money for a non-quarterback position. And why we keep saying that is quarterbacks, we know that's what they make, but they have the hardest position, right? Everything has to go through them for that offense to work. But when you think about 30 mil per year, just think about the caliber of players you can get. Multiple players,
you can get multiple
for that 30 mil per year. That's the
get
big
2 Bud
part.
Duprees.
Seriously, like, absolutely. Like, if you're asking people right now, hey, would you rather have 2 Bud Duprees or would you just rather have 1 TJ Watt and kind of put
that's
all
a legitimate
your
conversation?
Because some people, I know for me, I would rather have 2 Buds, because at least if one went down, I know I still got somebody that's going to be in that vein. Whereas you put all your eggs in one basket now.
Luckily, we have Highsmith.
True, but it's a difference. We know that, right? So when you put that much in a non-quarterback, if they don't produce like that, like, think Khalil Mack in Chicago. Khalil Mack has been playing well, but he hasn't been doing that. Like, when you like, that's that first year when Khalil went out there, we had that crazy season. It was what, the pick six.
I think he won decoy, didn't he?
Yeah, when he just went absolutely bonkers. Like, when you're getting paid like
as
that,
a team, though, they still didn't do shit.
Right. They still suck. So when you're talking about paying a guy like that, it has to look like that, but it's still, when you're talking about how it accounts for wins. Now, we know they had Mitch Trubisky, so I understand that. But still,
that's the point.
When you're paying a guy that much money, you want it to not just account for individual success, you wanted to account for team success as well. And for a fact, they were balling that year, though. Their defense was going crazy that year. The defense definitely went crazy. But it still didn't account to, like...
Same with Von Miller after the Super Bowl. He got that big-ass contract 2016. They haven't done stuff. Now, if you look at some of those edge rushers, the only one is like in that top, like, 5 to 6 range, 7 range, that their team has won and success like that, Frank Clark. They have Mahomes. So he's not getting like the 30 million. Right. That's the other thing.
Yeah.
The 30 concerns me just a little bit. But I know we have to pay TJ, so I understand that.
Gotta pay that man.
And hopefully, depending on how the cap gets situated, hopefully in maybe 2 or 3 years, it's actually looked at as a bargain.
Well, I just don't know.
I just don't know what guys, though. Like, is Nick Bosa in a couple years? Is he going to be getting more than TJ?
He probably will.
If he does, then the deal maybe looks like a bargain down the line.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know if that's a guarantee,
but no, this is how it works, right? You think, because Joey who got the deal? Joey signed. No, Miles signed first, and then Joey.
Yeah.
So Miles signed. That reset the market, right? That was the record-breaking deal, highest paid. It was crazy at the time. And then from there, you fast forward. Oh, Joey does it, breaks it, makes the number higher. TJ, when he signs, that's on him to make that number higher. That's what you're supposed to do. You got to make the number higher. And trust me, for TJ, he is going to want Nick Bosa or Brian Burns or one of these young edge rushers to come up and be the next guy to reset that market even higher. So now when TJ is 3 years into this deal and he comes up and he's like, hey, man, the cap done went up. My productivity is still there. I finally got me a depoy. Yeah, well, little Nick over here getting 31.
I'm not liking where this is going.
That's how football goes.
It's the nature of it.
That's the game. Everybody, I mean, AB did it. You talk about the running backs with El Bell. They went through it. Ben went through it to an extent. Like, everybody goes through it of who's going to be the next guy to reset the market. It's a privilege when you get to reset that market and everybody else is around like, you do that thing. Because when you don't, if you go and TJ comes out, he signs for 25. Well, everybody that's going to get paid next is pissed off because now we don't have a leg to stand on. When he takes 25, that was the equivalent of when Tyrann Mathieu, this has been 2 or 3 years ago, he was supposed to be the best safety on the free agency market. And I thought he signed with Kansas City for like some like crumbs, right? 6 mil, 5, something like that. It killed the market for the safeties. Because when the best player is signing for that, now the rest of us, you're like, bro, we can't get more than that. So for TJ, all the other outside guys, they want him to sign for that 30.
Understood. I get it 100% from the player standpoint. From an organization, Steelers standpoint, it does concern me paying that much to an edge rusher. It just does.
It does, man. So let's go check what this chat is looking like right now. I know Brandon Mink, he said 30 mil, Lizzo. Oh, buddy. Shout out to the hubby. Hey, Bizzle. Oh, all right. Look like we're heavy in the category of yes today for TJ Watt in terms of would you pay him? $30 million per year. It's been up for 4 minutes right now. About 170 people have voted, sitting at 73%. So we'll leave it up a little bit longer just to see how the people, continue to respond to that. But before we continue on with that, I'll hop into some of these chats real quick. Looks like we have. Oh, we got some more. Oh, okay. Didn't see these ones.
I got Elijah Barnett. This might be the most recent one on my end.
Yeah,
just
we got
giving a contribution.
One. We got a couple more before Elijah.
That might be it though, because the last one I'm seeing on mine is Aaron Breeze saying if we don't pay TJ, someone else will. No, I might be completely off on my chat
off,
though.
Yeah, you're good. Yeah, you're off. So on my end, first up. Terry Bingham. First off, man, appreciate the contribution, Terry Bingham. Yes, indeed. Then we got VA Steel. Remember that VA with the Steel, STEEL and an A. They say, thanks for making the start of the work week glorious with the crying, laughing emoji, man. We appreciate you, VA Steel. We're gonna have that love and support for you. And then Terry Bingham spent the block and he says, cornerback. Please, that should be the next position that we're targeting.
Yes.
Cornerback. We agree with you on that one right there, baby. Yes, we do. Then we got Jesus Pacheco. He says, if we do trade for CJ Henderson, what does that mean for Joe Hayden? That brings up a great point. I feel like if we trade for CJ, more than likely means that Joe is not getting that extension this offseason and he will not be back next offseason unless it's for like a crazy low deal.
Yeah.
Like that's exactly what that means, because CJ would essentially be your number one corner. That's how that would work out if we did make that move. And we talked about that a little bit as well in terms of, now this is before we decided about would you rather trade for CJ, but we were just saying, would you extend Joe? Because we know that has been something that has been out there now publicly and officially now. So yeah, it's gonna be something to, definitely follow with that. Next, we got Jay. Jay, man, we appreciate your support. He says, I know this is a bit late. Hey, trust me, you're never late, man, when you're on this show, babe. We always right on time. But he says, I know this is a bit late, but do you think the defense will play a lot more nickel than base now that they have two sideline-to-sideline linebackers? I do think they will, only if they prove that those two guys can hold up in a nickel defense the majority of the time. And what I mean by that is, when you go nickel, you're taking off one of your D linemen. By taking off one of your D linemen, or typically it's Tyson Alualu that comes off the field, now that means that Devin and Joe are going to be having to take on linemen a little bit more frequently. So when we think of sideline to sideline, great in the context of base personnel because you got those guys covered up and they can flow. But when you start going small ball, sub package stuff like that, those guys are going to be asked to do a lot more of, shocking and locking on these guys that are getting free releases up on them. And yeah, they're not the biggest of linebackers. So I personally don't like that. But I do think in terms of the nickel package, we will see a ton of those guys out there together. Even the drills they were running yesterday was exclusively featuring those two guys in coverage. Now, granted, the results weren't what we wanted, but it was the first day. So we know that, it's going to continue to grow. I mean, my man Joe is fresh off a flight. Like, this is nuts. I still can't believe that. My man off the flight just, call the defense day one. Like, wow. So, yeah, I'm not surprised that he struggled in the first day. I wouldn't be surprised if he struggled the next 3 days. Like, your head's probably spinning right now. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I got a couple of these super chats on my end. My chat's been acting right today.
Are you at Roger Peavy? Yep. Okay, perfect. Yep, you take off.
Roger Peavy. I'd give TJ, 32 a year. Can't keep losing our stars. Man.
Brings up a good point. Especially when it's homegrown. I feel like, because let's see, which homegrown stars have we lost right now? L. Bell was homegrown. Bud Dupree was homegrown. Mike Hilton was homegrown. Matt Filer was homegrown. Am I missing anyone right now? Who am I leaving out?
Did you say AB? Did you say Bell?
Oh, shoot. AB, yeah. He was homegrown as well, yeah. I didn't count him because I thought we did pay him a couple of times.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, I get your point.
Like, I think he's
on their second contract.
Right. Because, like, L. Bell never got technically that second contract.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah, was there anyone else that we forgot?
I just know 32 is too high, in my opinion.
Mike Wallace, maybe? Was he another guy like that or no?
Yeah, he was actually. Emmanuel Sanders.
Yeah.
Nah, 32 a year. I think we're probably going to end up paying him around 28 to 30. I don't feel the best about it, but we need TJ. So it's this catch-22 scenario. I just don't understand the people that are like so gung-ho about, I'm going to love paying him $30 million.
Yeah.
Like, I get it. We're probably going to have to, but the precedent for that and the team winning, I don't feel the best about it. I just know you got a great quarterback. You have a top 5 quarterback. That's the dude you pay. You try to fill the pieces outside of that. Usually Brady, he's been able to take the pay cut, so teams have been able to build around him pretty good. But
go rookie quarterback.
Oh yeah, or rookie quarterback. You're right. But then if that dude's a stud, you got to pay him still. Like you just saw with Josh Allen, he's getting $40 million.
But it takes a couple of years though. So if not saying that this is the case now, because this kind of goes against everything that we have been projecting and kind of filling with Ben and the Steelers. We feel like Ben is going to be back next year, right? Unless something catastrophic happens this season, we think that he'll be back. They left the door open for him. They never closed it on him. But in a case where if the organization might be feeling like, hey, we're going to move on from Ben next year, we can pay TJ 30 or even 31 if we need to keep him happy. And we know we're either going to be rolling with Haskins, Mason, or we're going to be drafting a guy. That could be playing into this as well. The problem with that thought process is you don't get to see Ben before you make your decision. If in terms of the Steelers, if they're committing that much money to him and trying to go the rookie quarterback model, you don't know what 7 is going to look like this year. If 7 comes out there and he balls out, well, now you looking crazy. It's going to look like Green Bay, essentially.
And to be real, too, you'd be only going off Haskins in preseason, really. Right. Which
it's not a lot.
Dude, I looked at this because we were going to be talking about the rookie quarterbacks and stuff. There's a lot of rookie quarterbacks that look, or young quarterbacks that look amazing in preseason. It's preseason.
It's preseason.
Like the legit deal is regular season. We know Ben can ball out in regular season, can ball out in just football in general. So,
but that was like my other thought of like how I could see them wanting to pay him 30, even under that premise of we know what 30 means. If you're going rookie quarterback model or just rookie salary, right? For the quarterback or even a bridge starter, right? I'm trying to think, right? Ryan Tannehill, when he first went to Tennessee, before he signed the extension, when he first got there, it was on a bridge deal because they still had Mariota at the time. You could get away with that concept maybe for a year or two. But once again, because the Steelers have that self-imposed deadline of they want this deal done before the season starts, you don't get that chance to see. Like, I like to see. I want to know. Like, man, because if we get to week 12 and we like, yo, Ben fell off a cliff. It looks like the end of the season is just downhill, downhill, downhill. Well, now you can make that decision a lot easier. But when you have that self-imposed deadline, you don't really have that luxury like that, man.
Now, you mentioned bridge deal with Tannehill. I could see Ben taking that type of deal. I've talked about that before because that's like in that range of what Brady's gotten with the Bucs, what Breeze was getting
like
with the Saints.
20
to 25 million. So I could see Ben taking something like that, which it could still be made to work with TJ's deal in this offseason.
Oh, man. This is going to be interesting.
So that what I mean is like no matter what direction the Steelers might be looking, I think they can make the TJ deal work with Ben at quarterback or if they're looking a different direction, which I hope not.
It's going to be interesting, though, man. So this chat's been up there for 13 minutes now. And, still a whopping, 74% ended up saying that, they would rather have or they would pay TJ that 30+ mil, essentially, man. Like, it's a ton of money, though, man. And, this is the conversation you have when you talk about that type of money. Where is it at? ABJ 5791 literally just brought up how many sacks did TJ have in the playoffs. Now, we broke down that concept of he's had 2 playoff games. One was his rookie year, and then obviously the one was from last year. But at the end of the day, the results are still 0. Regardless of how we want to justify it and stuff like that, the number is still 0. So that does bring up a point there, man. But to me, I'm less worried about the playoff stuff. I think that he'll show up in those games. TJ is a big game player. He shows up. I'm not overly concerned about that. Health, I'm concerned about just because you just never know, right? 30 mil. When you put that type of resources in one player, health becomes a big part of that now, man, because I need you out there. You have to be available and kicking butt and ready to go from the start all the way to the end. I need that, man. So,
and he's been healthy. So credit to him for that. He
definitely has.
But all it takes is something fluky.
Right. And we know collegiately he did have injuries. So it's not out the frame. So I think of that. It doesn't shy me away from it, but it does become a little bit more to the forefront of my thinking with him with this, because that is a ton of money to pay to a non-quarterback position. And you definitely can't have any of those quiet games. Can't go 2-3 weeks. Nah, can't have that. Whew.
How does this work then? If TJ wants to just hold out this year, How much is he getting fined and whatnot?
$30K per day.
So is that out of the realm of possibility? Like, we don't see him holding out.
The only reason I don't see him holding out is because from my perspective, my relationship with TJ is a football guy. TJ loves to play football, even with this situation. And that's what we said. It was like weird. It's kind of like a hold in because most of the guys that are in this stuff, they're not out there. And he is there. He still is working on the side. So, like he wants to be out there. You see him like he loves ball. So that part is there, man. But yes, I don't know, man. I don't think he would hold out like that, bro. I feel like he would.
Because my reasoning for the Steelers to make the move is just so we have TJ this year. Because if we don't have TJ this year, I think it's really detrimental.
I just don't think that, because this is the interesting part. Part of me feels like he would rather play on this 5th year than sign a deal long term that doesn't pay him what he wants. Before he would just say, okay, you're not going to pay me what I want, take the L Bell approach and just sit out for the season. If that makes sense. Like, I just don't think he'll go that part. I think that he would much
then he could do that next year with the tag. He could just not sign the tag.
Exactly. Now when you don't sign the tag, now they can't find you. Now you don't have to be at any of that stuff. And that's the part where I can see it getting a little bit more dicey. And he would have a lot more leverage then as well. But right now, he doesn't have any leverage. As soon as he decides he's not going to show up, they can legitimately start fining him $30K per day. And that adds up when he hasn't had to make a deal just yet.
Yeah.
It's a lot of days in the year. A lot of meetings. I mean, if they really want to go, but they could literally hit him for every meeting that he missed if they really want to dig a little bit deeper in that. And then we already said conduct detrimental. That's the other one where now you can get astronomical with your fines and really have a little bit of fun from a 6-figure perspective. Yeah. So right now the team has a ton of leverage because he's under contract.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
What does that mean then if he doesn't make the deal? What's his attitude and everything? Is he pissed off and playing amazing, or is he pissed off and it's just, it ain't the same?
I mean, it could go either way, honestly. I mean, because part of you says, yeah, he's going to ball it because he wants to get the deal. He wants that contract. But at the same time, he also knows that the team is still going to own the next 2 years of him if they wanted to play the franchise tag game back to back, kind of like what the Washington football team did with Kirk Cousins. So, yeah, I mean, everything makes sense for him to play well. Everything points to that. But the problem is not about him playing well or not. It's the injury risk. Mm-hmm. That's the biggest reason why he's not practicing doing all the team stuff like we're accustomed to seeing him do. The injury risk. So when you decide that, hey, I'll go out here and play on this 5th year option, I'm so pissed off with this organization, I'm going to go crazy out here and ball out. That's all well and good. You're still making that team money. You still helping them win
definitely.
games.
The Steelers are loving it.
But you're still the one taking this risk, and they're only doing it for 10 mil instead of 30 mil. So that's where it's going to be interesting to see if TJ is forced in that position, how is he going to react? We talked about that with Joe Hayden a little bit as well, right? Okay, we know who their agents are. James Washington, we know who their agents are. We know, okay, this is their temperament. We know this is what they're trying to accomplish. Now, we've seen other guys around the league accomplish it in one way, and they're a little more heavy-handed with it. But right here, these guys typically don't take that approach. So how are they going to progress and get their point across to where action will be taken by the team without them having to go out of character like that? I just don't know how that plays out. If it gets there, I hope it doesn't get there. I really don't want it to get there. But if it does, you can see like this could get dicey, man.
It could.
Yeah.
And we both have laid out both sides pretty well.
Absolutely,
like I understand both sides. I really do. Yeah. I'm hesitant from the Steelers organization standpoint, but from a player standpoint, there are certain markers that you want to hit with these with contracts, and you want to get the most money you can at a certain window of time. So I don't blame you for that. But in terms of like an organization and winning, $30 million to an edge rusher is a lot. Yeah, it's a lot. It's got me concerned.
Now, Tyler Morgan, he brought up this because I know you're about to get back in, and then I think you can catch up on our super chats. But
yeah.
But there you go. I just lost it.
I'm caught up. I'm after Roger Peavy after he said I'd give TJ 32. Yeah. That's what we were just talking about a little bit.
Perfect. So yeah, I'm gonna read this comment. Then after that, you'll start with Lou Boy. Yep. That's what it is. All right. So Tyler Morgan had brought up this, man. He had said, just a reminder, generational guys, they don't just grow on trees. In terms of TJ Watt and why, you know, when we're talking about would you pay him, would we not pay him, we'd rather go different directions, stuff like that. He does bring up a point, man. We've been looking for a TJ Watt. We you know, and we found one. That's a generational talent right there. As great as Bud played, but wasn't on that level, right? TJ isn't like what man Coach Thomas say he's visiting from another planet, right? TJ is like that, man. So I'm with y'all, man. I want to pay him.
I got Aaron Breeze. If we don't pay TJ,
someone else will.
Yep.
Yeah.
Am I missing anyone else?
Yeah. You got Elijah Barnett, man, just showing a little contribution, showing a little love to the show. We appreciate you for that. Then we got Let's Go UW. Love Let's Go UW. He's always heavy in here too. He says Steelers just need to give TJ Watt and Minka Fitzpatrick a blank check. Hey man, the cap is going up, baby. Cap's going up.
I just don't understand the sentiment though from fans of
what you mean?
Let's just give players blank checks. Like that's gonna fuck up the cap.
You said that for 7.
Huh?
You said about 7.
I would. I mean, quarterbacks, quarterbacks, yeah.
So
franchise quarterback.
You don't understand it, but you just said it, man.
For those players,
franchise
though,
quarterback,
franchise quarterbacks,
franchise edge rusher,
franchise quarterback's different
safety.
to me.
I mean, like when we talk about the hierarchy of positions, we say what? Quarterback number 1, edge rusher, left tackle, lockdown corner.
Here's my thing. The Josh Allen deal with the Bills, yes.
Okay.
That's this type of stuff I'm talking about where it's like, yeah, you do that and that's it. Like, I'm not concerned about that.
Okay.
The Bills made the right move there. Same thing with Texans and Deshaun Watson before all this stuff came out. Patrick Mahomes, same thing. You make those deals. Dak Prescott, that's a different story because where do you view him in as a franchise quarterback? Yeah. Like those guys, I think are legit. You do that. Now, with any other position, I'm more concerned about that. I'm sorry if not everyone agrees with me, but
my question to you is this. If TJ Watt isn't out there, how are the wins and losses affected? Plus or minus 3, maybe?
Well, now if we have 30, and this is down the road, now we have $30 million in cap space. Okay. How do we use that? That's the other question.
But before we can even get to how we're going to use it, just TJ Watt, what is his impact in terms of what he accounts for, wins and losses? If he isn't out there next season, right?
Oh, that's the main reason. That's the main reason I want to get the deal done because I just want TJ this season. Out there,
how many wins and losses do you think he accounts for compared to like a quarterback? That's where we're ultimately. That's what it comes down to, right? When we're saying we're more comfortable paying a guy $30 million if he's a quarterback, even if we don't feel him, we don't even think he's the best quarterback in the league, but we're comfortable paying him 100 plus because he plays quarterback. Whereas TJ, we're talking about TJ's the best defender in the NFL. You named off quarterbacks. It's like, yo, they're good, but they're not even the best quarterback in the league. Yeah, and we're comfortable with that. But this guy's the best defender in the league or in the conversation the past 2 years.
From my standpoint, it's all about...
To me, I think that's up on the same level right there, man.
It's all about replacement, though.
Okay.
Josh Allen compared to average quarterback or dude you're just drafting is a huge margin from my standpoint compared to edge rusher. Now you have $30 million in cap space to a lot to other players. I think that's a huge difference. Because now you have $30 million in cap space with TJ. Now you can pay an edge rusher like $14, $15 million. Maybe you could pay a cornerback that. Whereas like franchise quarterback, you either have your guy or you don't.
Right.
And like I'd rather have that guy.
But if you don't have that guy, what do you need? Guys like TJ, right?
I still think you're screwed. Unless you're getting lucky with Nick Foles. Like I don't think that's the formula. But you can't
get lucky with Nick Foles if you don't have a Brandon Graham, a Fletcher Cox, a Nigel Bradham.
I wouldn't be betting my future on that though. There's no way. Like they got so lucky with that. They still had
it because Carson Wentz was under a rookie deal. They already had their guy.
Well, that's what I mean. I'm telling you, they got so lucky with that.
But the system was already there where they had everybody in place paid around with the quarterback on a rookie salary.
But that's the funny thing is, though, I don't know if they get there with Wentz. Like, Foles was just possessed.
Wentz was going nuts, though.
He was.
That was the quote-unquote the MVP season everybody talks about.
But in terms of you're the GM, you're trying to set up your team up for success. You want your franchise guy, and that's it. Because I just think that margin is so much bigger than I'm not paying an edge rusher, but I could allot that money somewhere else. I feel
like you put too much on quarterbacks, man. You make it like we could legit just, hey, man, as long as you got this quarterback, it doesn't matter who else is out there, you'll be fine. And we've pointed on numerous occasions to guys that are viewed as the best quarterbacks in the world. When they don't have the talent around them, they struggle. When they don't have the talent around them, offensively and defensively, it's hard for them to win championships. So when I think of a guy like TJ, who is in his own right just as important as some of these quarterbacks, I'm just like, man, how do we not pay a guy like that 30 mil? Like, he's worth that to me.
That's tough. That's where I think that's where we disagree. I don't view him up there as a franchise quarterback, like in terms of value.
Yeah.
I just don't see it that way.
Fair enough, man. Fair enough. All right, let's get back to some of these chats real quick, man. All right, so we got Lou Boy. Shout out to Lou Boy. I want to say Lou Bowl, like Lou Bowls, but Lou Boy. Shout out to you, man. Appreciate the love and the support as well, man, for the show. He says, if Cameron Hayward, Stephon Tuitt, and Tyson Alualu wasn't in there, why wouldn't get off that much? I say no to $100 million. Lou, I get what you're trying to say here, but that's like saying if Ben didn't have an O-line and wide receivers helping him out, he wouldn't be great. Like, everybody needs help. Everybody needs talent around him. It's not a knock on TJ that he plays next to Stephon Tuitt and Cam Hayward. But he excels. He excels and elevates even more. That's what we're pointing to right here, man. But to say that, he needs those guys, it's not like that. But yes, Ben plays a lot better when he has AB out there compared to if he was throwing it to Rico Bussey. Rico Bussey's a good player, but he's not AB. That's all we saying, baby. All right. It's not a knock that he has those guys, but he's definitely $100 million player, man. All right. Then we got Gaming with Geo. My man says Deke must be trolling us.
I'm not.
He's not. He's serious. He's definitely serious. Like, he's serious, man. But you're bringing up some valid points. It's just the difference of philosophies. That's the big thing. Some people put a lot more stock in these quarterbacks. Some people, we view it more whole. That's all. Man, ain't nothing wrong with it, though.
I'm not even saying don't do it. They're probably going to do it. I'm just concerned about it. I just am. Like, I'm not going to be surprised in 2 or 3 years we look back like, oh, fuck, this deal's awful.
Yeah.
He could still be playing really good, but because Khalil Mack could still be playing really good.
Exactly. 30 mil, you want 13 plus. 13 and a half is like your floor.
That's all I'm saying.
That's what it is. 13
That's all I'm saying. You do it. You're going to do it. I'm going to be concerned about it. Maybe not the most thrilled.
Yeah.
That's why I'm just asking, why is everyone just so thrilled about it? Like, this is a foregone conclusion. Everything's going to work out so amazingly.
Because we're not talking about, like, when we speak on Ben, just for a conversation purpose, right? I know you're going to say he's number 1 in the league, but a lot of when we're talking, it's like, oh man, he might be top 10. Some people even, oh man, he's top 15, maybe top 20. Like, it's that debate, right? Where is his range at? With TJ Watt, when we talk outside linebackers, there's only 2 other names that people mention with him. Oh, Khalil Mack, Von Miller, and we still feel like he's past those guys now. So when we're talking about TJ, he is the best in his position in the NFL. We're talking about him being the best defender in the NFL on back-to-back years. Like, we both stood up here and said, man, if not, now I thought Gilmore, I like Gilmore winning it. I ain't gonna go there. But last year we said, man, we felt that TJ should have won that. That would have meant he's the best defender in the NFL. The whole NFL. You pay those type of guys that type of money. And I think that's why everybody is so for him getting 30 plus or 30 mil per year, because of the same way we're talking about quarterbacking, that we're looking at him as generational, once in a lifetime edge rusher type vibe. That's the perception that they're getting with him, man.
Sure. Sure. But that's why I just hold QB to a different standard with that. And I don't know if we're just automatically going to say outside linebackers worth that 30. I don't, as a position, because we would say the same thing about like halfbacks. I
do like how you hold quarterbacks to that position, but not all quarterbacks. You don't hold Ben to that same standard, man.
What do you mean?
In terms of like that quarterback, the money that they make and the expectations game in and game out, you don't hold him to that same standard as you hold it. Like, are we talking about with TJ right now? We all know if TJ signs for 30 plus per year, that expectation is going to be hard and consistent right where it's at, right? We've both said that.
Wait, Ben has got franchise quarterback money, and he's been a franchise quarterback. Like, we've been relevant throughout anything. Yeah.
Calm down. I know you about to go. Just wait. Can I talk? Just give me a second.
Okay.
Give me a second. You see, you was working up. I saw you perk up, man. Just chill.
I haven't moved.
Just breathe, bro. You good. You good. But what I'm saying is this. We're not talking about TJ once he signs for 30 in terms of the whole element, but we're seeing game by game. If TJ has a game where he doesn't have 2 sacks, right? We're going to feel sideways. If TJ has a game where we don't feel like he just went bonkers and had impact when he's getting 30 per year, right? We're going to feel some type of way about that. That's what we're saying, right? You would agree with that, correct?
You got to let the season play out, but I get what you're saying. You got to let the season play out because players have bad games.
But you just said that now, but literally 5 minutes ago, you weren't saying that.
What? We're going to be critical about it. See, if he has a bad game, that's different than...
I got
a
you,
bad
man.
season. He can still have an amazing season.
It's cool, bro. You go sidestep it. Just sidestep it. It's all right.
Wait, sidestep what?
It's cool, baby. We ain't tripping, man.
No, I'm just at. What am I sidestepping?
You're sidestepping the fact that you were just talking about how all of us were here just talking about with TJ signing for 30. That impact, we have expectations for him on a game per game basis. He can't disappear in games. He can't have, or that was the knock on him early in his career, right? He'd have a game where he'd have 3 sacks and he'll go 2-3 weeks with nothing, right? And we said if he signs this type of deal for that type of money, he can't have those type of games. We both agreed with that. And then you said that you feel like for edge guys or non-quarterbacks getting that type of money, the standard has to be that, right? It has to be felt game in, game out. So I simply said to you, you don't keep that same energy with Ben because Ben has had off games like that.
I was critical of Ben last year in the Bills game and outside of the Bills game and the Bengals game. What criticism are we talking about?
Hey, don't worry, bro. You good, man. You good.
I would fully admit when Ben has a bad game or he costs us. I think he cost us in the Bill game. I think he cost us in the Bengals game. He didn't live up to par there, but year in and year out, we're always relevant because of Ben. And that's what I'm saying with TJ. It's like if he has a great season, we're relevant because of him, sure.
But
you have a bad.
Do that. Did he not do that?
Now we're talking 30 million, and now we're talking
but he
how
did
much
have a great season that kept us relevant, though, right? He has done that on multiple occasions
on that contract. Now it's 30 million. How much does that affect the Steelers winning as a whole? Ben, in my opinion, franchise quarterbacks, you're relevant just because they're in existence on your team.
See, that's why I don't agree with that, though, right there. Just because they're on the team, like, no.
Aaron Rodgers, Ben, Breeze, Brady, like, because they're there, that team is relevant. That's my take on it.
But they have to have the pieces around him. Rodgers has pieces around him that makes him even more relevant. That's what we're saying. Like, major piece.
Not all the
absolutely.
times.
Bro, he's had Devontae, right? Before Devontae, he's had pieces. Does he not have pieces? That's all we're saying. He's had pieces. You have to pay those pieces. You have to pay those guys.
There's only a certain amount of cap, though. That's always going to be the problem because there's times Rodgers' defense wasn't up to par. There's times with Steelers' defense we weren't up to par. Yeah. Brady's weapons weren't always there, but they keep these guys and these teams relevant.
But they have those guys. They still have a guy. Even, I mean, you think about Brady the last year they won it, right? Who was their corner they paid crazy money to? Gilmore got paid. Massive deal. You have to have a guy like that. Revis, when Revis went up there, he was their big paid guy. You have to have a guy. You have to.
That's another thing.
TJ's a guy.
We're talking cornerback too versus outside. Like there's,
but we said though in terms of position hierarchy, quarterback is number one. Then from there, left tackle, edge rusher, cornerback. They all three in that same conversation of what's the next important thing, man. They're all in that same conversation. All of them.
The Revis deal was for 1 year. Yeah. My only concern, at $30 million per year, long-term deal. I don't know, dude. I don't know.
It's TJ Watt. We're not talking about Bub. We're talking about TJ.
All I'm saying, I'm concerned. I would be concerned. I'm not saying you don't make the move, but
true.
I'm putting all the eggs in the franchise quarterback. I know this dude is elite basket. That's what I'm doing. Everything else, I'm up and down on a little bit.
But we said that was the difference in philosophies. You do lean on quarterbacks, whereas for me, I don't put all my eggs in quarterback. But we got different different experiences with quarterbacks as well. You've only had 7. I've had to see a couple of other quarterbacks besides 7, and I understand, like, yo, you need pieces, and we know that. Well, actually, we don't know this. I was gonna say, but they were on the back end of 7's career, but who knows? He might play another 10.
I'm saying 4. Just give me 4.
Like what?
We'll see. Well, give me next year too. Like at least what?
In 4 years we gonna reassess again.
Sure. Hey. Dude, I'm not even kidding you though. I saw the cover of an ESPN magazine. This was in 2017, and it had Brady on the cover, and they like grayed out his hair and everything. He was like 38, and like it was legit prophesying Brady's career. It's like, could this dude still be like a lead in the league? Could he still win a Super Bowl at age 45? It was back in 2017. And it's like, I mean, he did it.
There he is. How many years later still? Jeez. Yeah. That's nuts, bro.
Yeah, he did what he said. He's like, I'm playing till 45. Patriots were trying to get him out of there.
I like it.